Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Homestand Show. We got a packed house today. Albert Vartanian, James Sharman, and no, do not adjust your television sets. That is not Justin Pooney. It's producer Shawn McCormick in the flesh, in studio. What a shirt.
You might want to adjust your television sets because I'm about to take the show off the rails. Let's go.
I thought you were talking about the shirt.
Well, no.
That has got to be just crushes and TVs out there right now.
Probably the levels of the blacks and the whites mixing together. It's an old school terminology reference for you. No, happy to be here. Happy to bring a festive shirt and happy to bring some energy to the show.
I know. Me and Sharms are just like plain Johnnies over here with the regular shirts, but it's okay.
You know what? Listen. Next week is a new week, and maybe we'll have a crazy shirt Friday.
Next week is a new week. Yes. Today is definitely must-see TV, and not because of Sean's shirt. Also that, though. But Alek Manoah recalled, as I mentioned over and over again on the show, but he gets to start tonight against the Detroit Tigers, one of the worst teams in baseball. Not far removed, from that outing against the Houston Astros where he got absolutely torched. I wrote on Twitter today, I'm like, I don't remember a last regular season start for the Blue Jays I was as anticipated as this one, and I'm like, maybe Clemens' debut for the Jays.
David Price,
pretty big.
I mean, that's pretty big too. But
I tried to go to that when he debuted at the Rogers Center. It was like $200 for the 500 levels. Man, it was nuts.
I didn't see the tweet because I'm a Threads guy, but I'm interested as to what
I'm a Threads guy too, man.
As to what the response was, because you're right, and it's kind of sad because it's not like a great moment we're looking forward to. When David Price arrived, it was like, wow, what a moment, what a trade.
Got a good picture, yeah.
Right, but now it's like, wow, what is going to happen? And thank you, Alek Manoah, because without Alek Manoah this week, I don't know what the hell we'd talk about because it's so dead in the world of sports.
This hasn't happened before. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing where you have a starter who was top 3 in Cy Young voting the season before, who just completely loses it, goes down to the lowest level of the minors, and now returns after 2 starts, and the Jays are hoping he can figure it out so they don't have to make a big move at the deadline.
Pressure, man. I mean, is there more pressure on him tonight than there was in the home opener, in the season opener, in the playoffs last year? Yeah. More pressure.
I think so. Like,
there's got to be.
He'll probably feel that way. I don't know if Ross Atkins and the rest of the Jays organization will say that, because they'll probably say, well, if he has a bad outing, that's okay. We'll bring him out once again.
Is that the message? What are they saying to him right now, do you think? What's happening in the room? Are they saying to Alek Manoah, just go out there, don't worry about the crowd, enjoy yourself?
Be yourself. And like that's who Alek Manoah is, and unapologetically, like even when he's struggling, he still has a bit of swagger to him. It's not the same as you've seen in the past, but just be yourself. If I could borrow a phrase from Justin Pooney, that dog mentality. He's that guy who can, control a game with mind games, with his fastball. You haven't seen it this year. Only 2 quality starts from him, but I mean, he could turn it around tonight. Detroit's offense is pretty putrid.
Yeah, that last start against Houston, he recorded just 1 out, didn't last an inning, and gave up 6 runs. Hopefully it's not the same, but listen, it's must-watch TV. Listen, the Jays are playing pretty well. How about a sweep of the Chicago White Sox off the back of a sweep from the Red Sox? But sweeping a doubleheader, that's rare. I don't know what the numbers are on that, but I was not expecting it. Jays look pretty good. I mean, you had an outing by Barrios who looked pretty good, and you have Lance Lynn, who we talked about it yesterday on the Parlay Show, and you're like, his underlying numbers are pretty good. I'm like, this guy's horrible. What do you have, 9 strikeouts?
10, I think.
10 Ks, Lance Lynn.
He had 16, like 3 games before that.
That was a strange game. Goes to extras, and the Jays open it up and just hammer it.
Doubleheader is only 35% of the time.
Oh,
no, I'm joking. I have no idea. I didn't. Just throwing numbers out there for the hell of it.
Dude, that's awesome. I don't know how you figure that out.
No, but I mean, as far as games go, it was pretty boring yesterday. I mean, if you like pitcher duels, it was entertaining, but to only have 3 combined hits and heading into extra innings can put you to sleep. Yeah. And then the Jays explode in the extra innings there and win 6-2.
It's fine though if the hits come late in the game and you're kind of looking, could this be a no-hitter? And that's exciting, right? But when you get like a hit early in the game and then it's oh God, will this ever end? This is horrendous. Is there an MLS game to watch on the other channel or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me check out Sportsnet World to see what's going on.
One thing I do want to mention, this is the last time Miguel Cabrera will play against the Blue Jays, by the way, in this series. And I just want to throw out some of these stats. Listen, he won the World Series with the Marlins, Triple Crown guy, last guy to do it in 2012, 3,000 hit club, 500 homer club.
Give him a video.
I think so. Well, they're going to give him something. That's what happens, right? This is last lap
How
around
about a
the
warm
moon?
applause from the fans? A warm applause.
No, he'll
Isn't
go
that
out
enough?
there. The Jays will give him something, unless they already did.
No, I think you would do it on the last time you see him.
Yeah,
but
so this is it. Shout out to Miggy.
What do you give
man.
him though? What do you give him? What do you give a guy that's got everything?
You give him like something. I don't know.
What, a subscription to
Sportsnet.
Sportsnet now.
Something
This is a commercial for
Something
Sportsnet.
apparently.
Something that has to do with Canada or the Toronto.
What did producer Ellie say?
I can't
He said a
mention what the
subscription
producer
to
just said.
Viagra. That's what he said.
Okay.
I didn't know that came in a subscription.
Anyways, the Blue Jays, they
Yes,
start
you
a
did.
series with the Detroit Tigers, 48-40. How about this? Best record in the AL since June 1st, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Really?
Yes.
That is surprising.
Wow, that is surprising.
They're, what,
yeah.
they're 10 back of Tampa?
I 8 back,
eight.
but that's I went over StatMuse,
Oh, yeah.
threw it in, and it spit out that number.
No,
They're
nice.
in a
It's
wild
8
card
back
spot.
now.
Yeah, it's 8 back.
Could be a
Tampa's
big second
sliding.
half coming
Five
up.
Tampa's
losses in a
sliding,
row.
Yankees are sliding, Orioles are sliding.
The
a little
Orioles
bit.
laid an absolute beat down
I mean,
on the
they're-
Yanks
they're-
yesterday.
What are they tied for a wild card spot now too?
Yeah, with the Yankees.
I
The
mean-
Jays looking pretty good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought it was like Panic City. Even at their lowest, what were they, like 12th best in the entire league? Like we've talked about. It's just unfortunate that 3 better AL East teams are ahead of them in the standings.
Well, it was panic mode though, right?
I
Because you have Manoah who couldn't pitch.
Sure.
You have Vladdy who couldn't hit, and the team just couldn't figure it out.
I mean, the team still can't hit unless you're
I
Bo
know.
Bichette,
But then
so-
that being
There
bizarre.
are no more peaks and valleys in any sport than baseball. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's so long,
Yeah.
right? The
starting to
panic
level up a
mode,
bit, though.
the euphoria mode, the panic mode. It's unbelievable, really.
Yeah. Okay, coming up after the break, I want to talk about what's going on in the Atlantic Division in the NHL. All of the bruisers in the NHL are in that division right now. Zach MacEwen, you might not know who he is, but the Ottawa Senators just signed him. A big fighter, as is Ryan Reeves, as is Lucic, as is Tanner Jeannot, all in the Atlantic Division.
Mac.
Is fighting back in
As-
hockey?
as they call him.
We'll talk about that after
Maybe.
the break. All right, welcome back to the show. One thing I didn't touch on in the first block, James Sharman, Shawn McCormick, Albert Vartanian, was 27 years ago. It was an historic day, James Sharman. 1996. I don't know if you remember it. How old are you back then?
Old enough?
I was 7 years old.
I
It
wasn't
was
7.
the WCW Bash at the beach. Do you remember this?
I can't say I do.
It was the day Hulk Hogan turned on the world and joined the
Essentially.
New World Order.
The what?
The New World Order.
the NWO, man.
Was that a different wrestling league?
Dude, too sweet, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God, I hate you
Sharp,
guys
how
more
don't you
now
know?
than I
Come
have
on,
done
this
in
is
the last
a big
year.
moment. And
No,
not
so
only,
NWA was what, though? It was a wrestling, like, a competition
so basically
for
what happened
NW
was Kevin Nash,
WWE.
Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, who were Razor Ramon and Diesel in the WWF,
Yeah.
left the WWF, now WWE, to go to the WCW,
Right.
and they were known as the Outsiders, so they're like taking over.
Oh, so they're a team.
Yes, and they said, listen, for this main event, we have a mystery partner who's going to join the NWO.
Oh, so WCW was the rival
Yes.
wrestling federation.
Yes.
And Hulk went over to that.
Hulk was
WWF,
already
yeah.
there, and then the NWO formed as a group
Oh.
within WCW.
And we're at
I've
a
never,
time.
I've never actually explained that to somebody.
Yeah, and you haven't done a very good job of it. Very confusing.
We'll show you a few videos after, Sharman.
not that good,
thank you.
We'll tape your eyes. And
It was
we'll
a
make
big
you
day,
watch.
man. I was shocked watching that. Hogan turning heel?
It was probably the,
Hulkamania dying in front of our eyes.
Was that
James
when
Sharman.
he dyed his
yeah,
beard?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Shortly
Yeah.
after that, he couldn't do it then because he would have seen it coming, right? But
Oh, okay.
right after that, yeah,
He was a red and yellow,
He
and then
wore
he
black.
turned dark.
black and white.
And he went back to WWE either, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
How long was he at
Well,
WCW for?
once the WWE ended up buying WCW,
Oh, okay. Vince McMahon.
then there was only one place to go, unless you count TNA, but no one counts TNA.
TNA.
wow.
Yeah.
Shout out, Anthony.
Total nonstop action wrestling.
Okay.
Remember Jeff Jarrett?
Usually
was there?
TNA is like tits and ass.
Yeah,
usually.
well, that was the play on what they were trying to do
okay.
there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, Charlie.
Maybe I should have watched more wrestling.
Was
You should have.
was it the greatest heel turn of all time?
There's nothing close. Name another one.
Well, I mean, there's not a better one.
Okay,
But
Austin did it. It was horrible.
Austin went with me when he joined McMahon.
Yeah, it was horrible.
That's pretty good. Shawn Michaels.
Dude,
on,
it's Hogan. It
Shawn
was
Michaels.
Mr.
on
we
Martin
need to
Martin
stop
Jannetty.
this right now.
It was Mr. America doing it. Anyways, speaking of fighting, let's talk about the NHL. I
about
mentioned before the break,
Speaking of heels.
there's a lot going on in the Atlantic Division. Obviously, here in Toronto, everyone knows Ryan Reeves comes over to the Leafs. Big bruiser, big fighter. Tanner Jeannot in Tampa Bay, who came over from Nashville last season. He's there. Arbor. What?
No, sorry. My brain's
Arbor Xhaka.
heel,
Yeah.
heel turns.
Yeah.
Bigger than that was when Manu Adebayor went to Man City from Arsenal and then charged towards the
celebration.
Yeah, exactly.
I do
That's a
remember
bigger
that.
heel turn than
right.
both Hulk and Razor Ramon.
But he
Can
was,
you explain that to me? Do we have 5 minutes?
no.
Adebayor was already a heel. You can't play for.
Yeah, but it's just the way he just
he ran the whole length
incited
of
the
pitch.
crowd.
I noticed.
Yeah. It's incredible.
That was great. Back to the Atlantic Division. Yes, Lucic playing for Boston. Brady Tkachuk, who had 7 fights last season, by the way, for the Senators. And now Zach MacEwen joins the Ottawa Senators. Those guys all combined for 45 fights last season. I don't know what to make of this, but it seems like the Sens and Tampa Bay and Boston are looking at other teams and saying, well, these guys are getting some toughness. Maybe we should get a guy too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're back to 1970s, 80s hockey by any stretch, but there's clearly an acknowledgement that you perhaps need to have some kind of presence on your bench there, right?
Yeah. I
think.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen teams with that formula be successful. Boston a few years ago, Chicago a few years before that, the Kings in that era as well, Florida Panthers just last season. So I totally agree with you. You need sort of that snot and truculence in the playoffs to be successful, and some of these teams in the Atlantic are trying to bulk up and do the same thing.
I'll say this though, I did some number crunching here, and if you combine all their minutes, average minutes per game, not including Tkachuk because he's a really good player as well, they average 12 minutes a game. So they're not having a big influence, but I'll tell you this much, if you're having late in games of blowout games between these rivals, we could see some shenanigans, which would be a lot. I want to see this. I like a good fight in hockey.
Yeah.
And I don't feel guilty saying that. I just do.
You should.
All my friends like to see a hockey fight. Now, not these preconceived, contrived bouts. They make no sense, right? But it's a fast-paced, violent sport. The boys are going to throw them now and again. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, and they will make an impact because let's say you're the Toronto Maple Leafs and somebody on the Ottawa Senators runs at Mitch Marner. Well, now they know if that happens, Ryan Reeves is either going to run at one of them or run at that guy for doing that. Right. It's just a part of the game. It's just how it is.
Maybe Mitch is suddenly 6'5" and can hold his own because he feels stronger and bigger because of the guy on the bench.
I mean, he could, right?
Maybe you'll throw a shot back at Matthew Tkachuk. Maybe.
Say something, maybe.
But I also wonder if this just cancels each other out. Like, did we see Lucic against Reeves? I don't think so. I mean, you would...
Probably not. I mean, Lucic only had like 3 fights last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's getting older, slower, less ice time. These guys don't produce mostly except for Brady Tkachuk, so I'm not expecting them to get too many minutes and therefore not expecting them to have too many fights between each other. And if you look at it, like over the years, like James was alluding to, like penalty minutes in the NHL like has been kind of steady for the last year around like 8 or 9 minutes per game. But back in the 1990s, you're looking at 24 penalty minutes.
That was a different game, yeah. What's really just what this is planting the seed of doubt in the other team.
Yeah.
Right?
And listen, your fourth lines don't play that much. You know, I mean, I keep saying, oh, what a waste of a roster spot. But the Leafs played 11-7 for a lot of last season as well, in the playoffs in particular. So the whole Ryan Reeves thing, so what? Doesn't make a difference. Really.
And like, you're just like, the game is so much different. It's faster. When you're brought up through like minors and when you're a kid, like you're not taught to play that way. You're penalized very, very heavily. You can't even fight in the minors, like lower level, obviously. So it's just sort of, I wouldn't say leaving the game because, I mean, as you can see, there was like, I think there was like 334 fights or something last season. So it's not going anywhere. It's just a lot less down from like 700, 800 that there used to be per year back, like even 10 years ago.
Yeah, looks like it's whatever in this division, toughest division in hockey, I'd call it. I don't want to say the return of the enforcer, but the return of somebody who's on the bench who can make an impact in a different way rather than offensively or defensively.
Toughest division in hockey, penalty-wise, and I think in the standings too. Like,
definitely.
I think because you have these scorers and because you have this skill, you bring in these guys to sort of, like you said, negate that fact. And if it's going to be a competitive division and there's going to be a lot of points and hard minutes, like you're going to want to sort of take some shots at those stars and try and get the edge that way.
It could be the division to watch now, don't you think? I mean, and this adds to it. I'm not saying I would rather watch a fight than a great goal, although I probably would. But
people will tune in to see Lucic if there's a possibility of that happening.
Yeah, and if like this division in particular, right? Any given night there could be something going on.
The Battle of Ontario, is it back?
Oh, I hope so.
Well, if Ottawa makes a run for the playoffs, right?
Well, can Chris Neil come out of retirement? Get Chris Neil out, get Domi out. Well, there's a Domi.
Hey, Domi's there.
Chris Neil got
a couple scraps. Bertuzzi had a couple scraps last season as well. The Leafs had like 10, which I'm like, where did that come from? I don't remember any of those.
Yeah, so Mitchell Marner had 7.
I remember
Wayne Simmons was there.
I remember the Nuge beating up Justin Hall. You guys remember that one?
Giordano had a fight too, didn't he?
He did.
He did, yeah.
Wow. What are you going to do?
Because he felt he had to, because no one else is going to.
Yeah.
This is true.
Don't get me started.
Sharp's getting hot under the collar.
One
thing I wanted to mention, Victor Wembanyama He debuts tonight for the San Antonio Spurs in the Summer League. Sold out, by the way, 17,500 seats. The fifth sellout of the Summer League in Vegas. But what everyone's talking about, not so much his debut, what's going on between his security guard and Britney Spears. Did you guys hear about what's going on over here? So Britney Spears filed a police report because she saw Wemby walking through the Aria Casino and Resort in Las Vegas, and I guess wanted to go say hello.
How did she know it was him?
Well, yeah.
She saw an athlete.
And so she said that all I did was tap him on the back to say hello, and the security guard, I guess, pushed her away and hit her in the face. And then Victor had this to say. Can we roll the clip, Ellie?
So what happened last night is I saw the news, obviously, this morning. I woke up to a couple of phone calls. And so yeah, there was something did happen a little bit when I was walking with some security of the team to some restaurant. We were in a hall. There was a lot of people, so people calling me, obviously. And there was one person who was calling me, but we talked before with the security. Don't stop because it's gonna make a crowd. So I couldn't stop. So that person was calling me, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, essentially, Spears, according to Wembanyama, grabbed her. He was like, "What the hell's going on?" Kept walking. Security.
Had he turned around and seen it was Britney Spears, do you think he would have asked the security guard to help out or not?
Who knows?
No, but I mean, all she
What's
wants
Britney
is,
doing?
All
What's
she
Britney
wants
doing?
is an apology. But this is again much to do about nothing.
Yeah,
it's
a whole lot
way
of
blown
nothing.
out of proportion. Let's just move on. Say sorry and move on. Let's go.
Okay, the Flamingo guy says just
way
move
to
on.
kill the segment.
Hopefully everyone's okay. Hopefully Britney is okay. Okay, coming up after the break, Noor Zainab is going to join us for a little role play ultimatum. That sounded weird, but you'll know what I'm talking about if you watch the next block. Okay, welcome back to the Homestand Show. And you thought we had a packed house before. How about now? 4 people in the studio. Albert Vartanian, Shawn McCormick, James Sharman. We're now joined by the one and only Noor Zainab to play some role play ultimatum.
I heard how
Sounds strange, but it's a really fun game.
Consider not coming in the room.
It's basically basically it's a role play where I tell you you're somebody and I give you basically a would you rather, an ultimatum. So
Okay.
let's start. Let's start with James Sharman. You are Shohei Ohtani. You will win a World Series at some point in your career, but after this season, you are no longer allowed to pitch and hit. You have to pick one for the rest of your career. Which one are you picking?
That's a good one.
It is a good one.
I think I'd rather be a hitter. So Shohei, I'm going to drop the ball. I'm not a pitcher anymore. I want to be part of the team every single day, not every 5 days. There's no chance of me blowing out my elbow or my shoulder. I might get hit by a pitch and die. That's possible. But that could happen as a pitcher as well, right?
Can.
So I think it's an easy choice. Given the choice, I want to be because he's a warrior. He's a hard worker. You know, a lazy person like Shawn or Albert here would take the pitching for sure because 4 days off, whatever.
Yeah.
He wants to work every day and work hard. So yeah, give me the bat.
Noor.
Respect. I'm going to go with the same one. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you can't pick. This is Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
He's good 1 week pitching, good the other week hitting. So how do you pick between the two? But if you want to break it down to stats, he's 143 in OPS and 142 when it comes to ERA. So he's winning by 1 point when it comes to hitting. So if you're going to take that and roll with it, I think I'm going to go with him batting.
Yeah, he's elite either way, right?
Yeah,
and
either
you
way.
basically took my entire argument, but I'll let you go ahead and see what you can come up with here.
No, I
Flamingo
mean,
boy.
I think they're both spot on. You gotta be the hitter. You don't want to risk injury, and there's a significant, much more significant injury risk when you're a pitcher. And you're much more elite as a hitter, to be honest. You have the best OPS in the majors right now. You're best in home runs in the majors right now. Last season you finished 11th in home runs and 10th in OPS, and so like you're just an elite hitter. You're pitching. He's still an elite pitcher, but just slightly worse. So I'm going to go with a hitter. And I know it's a cop-out to pick the same ones as them, but that's what I'm going to do.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but in 2017, this came out. Shohei Ohtani wrote a list of his life goals by age. Did you see this?
Yeah, he sent it to me, yeah.
And so by the time, so he's 29 now, but he said when he was 26, he wanted to win the World Series and get married and throw the fastest pitch in the world at 108 miles per hour.
Wow.
And then by the time he was 34, win his 3rd World Series, and that's just after having his 2nd son.
Is he on course?
No, not at all.
He's a loser then.
No.
Does he
And
need
he
that
also
Viagra
wants
subscription?
to throw, at age 40, he wants to throw a no-hitter.
Okay.
So I'm going to go, based on a lot of these life goals, throw no-hitter, 2nd no-hitter, pitch for Japan, break the strikeout record. I'm Shohei. I want to hit my life goals.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a pitcher.
And it seems like he's definitely leaning towards the pitching goals as opposed to the hitting goals, right?
But let's be real. We want to see him hit bombs. He just hit one, 493?
Yeah, he's crazy.
And he's to be that good at both. Like, if let's say you're Shohei and you're pitching to Shohei, do you like strike out or do you hit a home run?
That's a great question, dude. Shohei versus Shohei.
I love
if
that,
he's pitching to himself, do you strike out or do you get a home run?
I think he strikes out Shohei.
You think so?
I think I strike myself out.
But we're just saying he's a better hitter when it comes to hitting.
Pitcher,
yeah.
But wouldn't Shohei know what Shohei is going to throw Shohei?
But wouldn't Shohei know what Shohei's going to hit?
But that's like facing a knuckleballer. Like, I know he's throwing a knuckleball, and he still strikes me out. So sometimes you know what's coming, you can't touch it. Like Gosman's splitter. If he's on it, you're not touching the splitter. You know what's coming.
It's getting really deep right now.
Aroldis Chapman.
Sorry, guys. Yeah,
This is some paradigm.
Aroldis Chapman.
This is meta, man.
Yeah,
Chapman
Chapman throws 103. You know that fastball's coming. Doesn't mean you can hit it, right?
No.
Yeah.
There's no answer. That is a great question. But I don't
Do you
think there's an answer to
do you
it.
think the Yankees, whoever trades for him at some point, will they have that conversation in those negotiations saying, listen, at what point will you decide, or will you put the ball down and go with the
Or
bat?
do we have to decide for you?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, 'cause
Right now you don't have to. Right
No,
now
you
just
don't
keep
have
him.
to.
He's incredible.
He's
Does
got to get out of
so well, but
he's got to get out of
Shohei versus Shohei. That's amazing.
I don't know how much he'll be pitching for the foreseeable future anyways. At least for a couple weeks to get a fingernail issue.
He's got blister.
I knew it. I knew that was
Jeez,
coming.
blisters.
Coming from the
You
flopping
try
sport.
throwing.
Come on,
Sharms,
James.
you try throwing a 90-mile-an-hour slider with a blister.
I can't throw it without.
Oh, there you go.
So I would try.
Okay.
At least.
Let's get to the next one, and Sharms is gonna love this one, and I'll go straight to Noor. Noor, you are Hulk Hogan. This one Stevie Z came up with, which I believe is you have one company that you have to stay with for your entire career.
Okay.
So let's say go back to the beginning of Hulkamania. WCW or WWE?
Do you go to where you turn into a heel, or do you go to where you were first renowned as the global ambassador of all wrestling? What do you choose? Well, it got bought out by Vince McMahon anyway, right?
Either
So you
way,
kind of
you're
have to
good,
go back to WWE regardless. I think because of what he created with the NWO, it was so massive at WCW that like it put him on the map to be this otherworldly thing that before he used to be the crowd favorite. And I think he started a heel turn, which we started to see happen WWE afterwards.
A real heel
A
turn,
real, yeah, which just caught everybody by surprise. I remember seeing the first time he went on the thing, and it was just like Coke bottles at his face the whole time. But because of where he came from, winning WrestleMania championships, he had, I think, still the most watched match with Andre the Giant in the WWE. So I'm gonna go with the WWE.
Yeah.
I think, but it's a tough one.
That heel turn is also so big because people forget that that could have killed his career if that didn't work.
Yeah.
He sold all his merch on being the good guy and eat your vitamins and do all this garbage that he used to say. If it
He
didn't
was
work, who knows?
undecided, too,
it could have
right,
been
till the
over
last
for him.
minute. Yeah.
And it lasted until now. He's still making appearances on, the worldwide leader in WWE. You know what I'm saying? Sharms? Let's go. I'm not even going. I'm going straight to Sharms on this one.
Bad guys
No,
have
come
more
on, you
fun.
gotta
Bad
give
guys
us-
have more fun,
Give us something.
right? So I'm going the bad guy.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is?
No. Which is the guy that fought in the NWO.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Well done, Sharms.
At WCW.
World Championship Wrestling.
WCW?
I also have to go with WCW. Again, biggest heel turn moment. He got paid a little bit more money, and it's just tougher to get over as a heel and stay over as a heel. Like to be a face, it's a bit easier, I think. So
Is it easy to go from being a face to a heel or a heel to a face?
That's tough. A lot of wrestlers say it's difficult being a good guy, babyface. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Ask John Cena. He had kids going, I
done
love
it
Cena,
forever.
and then
Yeah.
Cena sucks right after. So he tried, but
That probably could have been
he's
the
the-
next big heel turn would be Cena going.
He
becoming
started
bad
his
guy.
career as a heel.
he came
so-
as heel, right? And then
Yeah.
he turned into like the renowned guy. But then the older audience hated him, but the kids loved him, and the women loved him too. So
How
Can
did
we
they?
do more wrestling
the
talk?
woman loved him. Yeah.
Okay, next one. James Sharman. Oh, no, I'll start with Sean on this one.
Oh, thank you.
Bo Bichette. So we had our main man, Mike Wilner, on yesterday, who interviewed Bo Bichette on his podcast, Deep Left Field Podcast. Go subscribe and listen to that. And they were comparing essentially Bichette and Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter is part of the 3,000 Club. I think, I believe, and I think Wilner also believes that there's a chance that Bichette can become that as well. So if you're Bo Bichette, would you rather finish your career as the all-time hits leader, so surpassing Pete Rose, or have a World Series ring?
I'm gonna go with World Series ring. because when Bo Bichette's career is finished, he'll be one of the best ever to do it, I think.
Regardless.
He will finish in the 3,000 club, but there's no way he's getting to Pete Rose. No way. The math just doesn't work out. Plus, you know...
It wasn't a question. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So I said he'd finish with a ring.
Noor?
I think if you're Justin Pooney, we know what you're picking. But because it's me, I care about my team and I'm a team player. I'd rather have the championship. And the championship is more important to your accolades way down the line than your MVPs and everything else. Just ask Charles Barkley. Yeah. No one's going to be expecting him for not winning a championship. So, again, because of that, I'm going to go the other route. But... I know what Justin's answer would have been if he was
It's so weird with baseball because the individual statistics like this one, they're huge. Sometimes they can even trump a World Series ring. Sure.
How many players in a roster, baseball roster?
26.
26.
Yeah.
How many World Series have there been, approximately?
Sean, what are you doing here?
I mean, baseball's been around since like the 1800s. So
I'm just saying there's a shitload of players with a ring. Shitload.
Got you.
One Pete Rose.
So Pete Rose has 4,256 career hits, which is
You're
ridiculous.
taking the Pooney playbook.
The Pooney play, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, the Sharman playbook is very much team first. It is, but to play devil's advocate, there is just one Pete Rose.
I guess for baseball it matters.
As much as he's a little bit controversial, I don't think Bo would be as controversial, and everyone know his name, not necessarily from winning a World Series.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm with you. I think I'm going to go all-time hits leader. The ring is great, but imagine that if you can hit over 4,200 times to pass Pete Rose, a record that's been held, I don't know how long, since, when did he retire? Late 80s?
80s, I think, yeah.
Late 80s.
You think he might do it, don't you?
No.
Absolutely.
He's 25 and he's only got 600 hits. So like if he plays for another 15 years of 200 hits, what is that? That's 3,000. So you're getting to what, 3,600 maybe?
Hey, stop being so anti-me.
I'm not. Well,
okay,
I'm not. But
let's talk some Masai Ujiri. Noor, I'll start with you on this one. Masai Ujiri, put a package together for Lillard or stay away because his agent is going around telling teams, do not go after Dame Lillard because he's going to be miserable at your team, and essentially saying he's going to be completely unprofessional.
So we had this convo last time, and I went the other way where I was like, put that phone down, disconnect, like let it go to battery, don't worry about it. But I think you sold me, Albert. I think you sold me, and I think it's because I'm calling his bluff. I don't think he's going to sit for 4 years. He's going to have to play. He's 32 years old. And if someone can make someone come over on a rental and make something work out of it, that's Masai Ujiri. So there's a dark spot to it where he might not play. He might be a problem to your team. But there's also a good spot where he's tanked his value so bad now that I think Masai can get away with giving up a bargain, like giving up nothing pretty much and getting Dame over. And if he can make your team better, you got him for 4 years, I'm going to call his bluff and say he's going to play.
And you have to assume that, he wants to win a ring, but is that just Miami? Because what if a team like Boston comes calling?
Yeah.
Boston probably has a better, if they don't sign Jaylen Brown, you send him to the Celtics, he has a better chance. I think this has a lot more to do with real estate in Miami than it does with anything
and tax-free,
else. But I'm with you. I'm not going to go to you guys because we're running out of time. I wanted to hit on this one. You are James Sharman. Sign a one-day contract with Liverpool or get a raise at Homestand. By the way, look at the image on the screen right now.
James, that fits you.
You know what?
You don't look like it.
I'm going with Liverpool.
I'm like the fattest
Liverpool
professional footballer ever.
All right, we have 10 seconds left,
Liverpool
guys.
for
I'm sorry, Noor, thank you so much. Coming up after the break,
It's a raise, by the
Gabe
way, just
Morency. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the Homestand Show. Albert Vartanian, James Sharman, and my boy here, Shawn McCormick, joins us. Let's bring in our next guest, Gabriel Morency of SportsGrid. Gabe, early on in the show, we were talking about the NHL Atlantic Division. I don't know if you saw this, but Ottawa signed Zach MacEwen, a fighter, a big bruiser. And I'm going through the Atlantic Division, and I'm seeing who's signed there. And we have, Ryan Reeves in Toronto. You got MacEwen in Ottawa, Jeannot in Tampa Bay. You got Arbor Xhaka in Montreal, Lucic in Boston, Brady Tkachuk, now Zach MacEwen. Is there a trend happening here in the NHL, or is it just the Atlantic Division where they're starting to sign some bruisers?
Yeah, the trend in the NHL is there's a lot of last names are getting harder and harder to
pronounce.
What's going on, Martin? That's the trend. That dude on the Canadians, you know what his nickname is Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, because they're like, dude, your last name is a Wi-Fi password. It's like XE, like, dude. So they're like, hey, Wi-Fi, what's up, Wi-Fi? Like, that's actually his name. we see this in sports all the time. Teams will copy, and they'll be, they're going to copy each other. Yet, I think this is a little bit, like we hear all this with the Leafs. Oh, they're going to be this and that. And, no, Vegas won because they actually had big guys that could play. Right. So that's a little bit different, but we're definitely seeing a theme right now. We saw it in the draft in which smaller players, we've seen in recent years, smaller players have been getting drafted pretty high, right? Like high, size won't be used again. It was not being used against you in the National Hockey League for a couple of years. The Cole Caulfields of the world and others, just sort of, smaller kids, they're skilled players. You'll notice this draft, wow, we like him because he's a big kid. And I think people see Vegas and they're like, damn, man, these guys are all like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" on skates, 220 pounds, and they wore people out. So, I think that's what we're seeing right now. But I don't think this is going to turn into slap shot or anything like that. It's still a skill-based league. So I think this is, day late, dollar short, to be honest, with a lot. Like, what's Reeves really going to do? Like, people say, oh, wow, the Leafs now with Reeves. Okay, what? He's going to get into a fight one night against the Buffalo Sabres in January? He's really like, the Leafs will go as far as Marner and Matthews will take them in the playoffs. Like, if those two kids step up and actually, do something, they'll play well. You can move around all these moving parts, but that's long story short. Vartanian, there's a little, there's a little bit of a trend of going back to the tougher guy right now in the NHL. It seems. Yeah,
and if you look at that list, only one guy on that list can really play, and that's Brady Tkachuk. He can scrap too.
Yeah, exactly. They're all like, like Tkachuk can play. But I tell you what, one quickly thing. I know you caught me off guard with hockey talk, Vartanian.
Yeah,
I got to tell you here.
Sorry,
me too. Gabe, don't worry.
Yeah, Sharman, I know. Come on, man. You got Gold Cup, MLS, UFC.
We'll get there. I promise.
We're Silverstone. This guy, Ottawa Senators. Love the Korpisalo signing, though. I think Ottawa make the playoff next year.
Hey, do you bet on futures, Gabe? We're talking about hockey and what's happening this year. Do you bother with that, or it's just too far away?
It's funny, Sharman. I used to be like the biggest impatient son of a bitch, and I was like, bet a future. I was like, I literally once broke a toaster because I got impatient waiting for Pop-Tarts. It's a true story. Like, I put it in. I was like, God, this is taking a long time. And I started, like, trying to open it. Like, I blew it. So, I used to be one of those people who would think, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I might, so who knows what's going to happen 4 months from now. As I got older, James, I realized, I'm like, like when you're younger, I won't probably be alive when I'm 30, right? I was in a punk rock band and stuff. Well, I'm still here at 52. So now, and my new conclusion is, not to get morbid, but you asked me the question. Yes, I do bet a lot of futures now because I figure that, hey, if I bet the future, I'm probably going to be right. And like in 6 months, I'm going to have more money. And if I die before the future cashes, it won't matter. I'll be gone.
I bet on you making at least 53, Gabe. So
no,
you're good.
I try to be pretty disciplined. I pick my spots, but each sport is different, James. Each sport, and this is a bad one. I'm actually almost ashamed of this one. I had Arsenal, bro, to win the EPL.
Oh,
and at one point I could have cashed out at like profited 4 times to 1. Yeah. I was like, they're not gonna blow it, bro. They're up by like 13. I was like, they're not gonna blow this. Yeah, they blew it. They blew it. That was my last future.
That's a tough one, man, because I was all in that the Guns were going to win it this year at one point. So yeah, that's a tough one.
Is it really true? Did you guys see the soccer rumors? It's like a high school cafeteria. It makes the NBA seem soft, but there's Mbappe to Arsenal.
I heard that one last night. That's not
it's not happening.
Yeah.
The word was that he likes Arteta and the project.
Play with them, right?
Yeah. He's going to Real Madrid. That's the only club that can afford him. City could afford him, but they got Haaland. So he's going to Real Madrid.
Fabrizio Romano, the transfer reporter, he said big news, big busy day for Arsenal today. Whatever that means. I doubt it's Mbappe. But if a team has the money outside of Real Madrid, it's a Premier League team.
Hey,
right?
they
have the money, Arsenal, but they don't want to spend it. I mean, the owners have the money, right?
They just paid $100 million for Declan Rice from West Ham. So, I mean, how much more is Mbappe going to be?
Yeah, but he'll be 200, right? If he goes anywhere, and listen, this could still be leverage for his contract too, right? It's not the first
or Real Salt Lake.
Johnny boy.
Well, Gabe, staying with soccer, that we got the Gold Cup on coming up this weekend. USA and Canada. USA is about a -165 favorite here or there. Do you see any way that Canada can win this game? I mean, they're both going to be undermanned, but the U.S. squad is much better than the Canadian squad, even if it's both sides are undermanned.
you know what? And the U.S. sort of have vengeance. They didn't like the CONCACAF, the way everything went. They want to send a message to Canada. Yeah, you guys aren't like better than us suddenly or anything. We want to remind you of this. Listen, if this game was at BC Place or if this game was in Edmonton, you know, like somebody said to me, they said if they were in Edmonton in the snow or something, maybe I'd like it. But this is going to be tough playing on their soil. Jesus Ferreira has been on fire right now. Okay, it was against St. Kitts Nevis. I don't know when they added the Nevis to it, but St. Kitts Nevis and then Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, you know, I don't want to take anything away. And critics of Ferreira will say this is what he does against bad teams, right? But let's see him do it against a good team. All right, you know, Canada beat Cuba 4-2. We'll give them that. They did what they had to do to get this far, but I don't like picking on Canada either, and I sort of talk myself into thinking, oh, maybe they can win, you know, beat them in the Nations League. They didn't. I think they're in trouble on Sunday night. In Cincinnati. It's how do you back a team that couldn't score on Guatemala?
Yep.
Right? How do you back a team that allowed Guadeloupe to come back and score on your home effing soil? All right. All right. Now I'm going to say that. Oh yeah, they're going to go into Cincinnati and they're going to beat the U.S. Not happening. The U.S. are going to beat them. The one I know Costa Rica suck. I know they're struggling. I know they're terrible. And, you know, they were lucky to get this far, but I don't trust Mexico, man. Like, you know, and even after against potentially Jamaica. So what I like, speaking of futures, James, I think the USA at plus 275 to win the Gold Cup is a good bet. The Mexico are plus 100 right now. You know, they don't do anything easy, James.
Yep,
I
you're right.
The Mexico at plus 100. I
the one
believe USA will get to the final, and then I'm going to have it plus 275 in my back pocket. I could take Mexico if I needed to after even. It's still make money.
You're bang on there. Mexico have the one full-strength squad for this tournament, but they're a team in disarray off the pitch.
Yeah.
Like disarray right now. They haven't played good football for 2 years, maybe. So, yeah, I think the States, even the States B team, which is what this is outstanding. And plus 275, I'm all over that one.
I kind of like Jamaica. I'm not going to lie. They're not going to win it, but they have a really exciting team.
They do.
Really exciting team. Getting Damari Gray to play for them instead of English, yeah.
They have the best. You can argue they have the best player in the tournament. But as far as the U.S. team, I'm a big Cowell fan. Really like this kid. Like what he did at the Under World Cup. Been a fan of his with the San Jose Earthquakes. The U.S., man, they have a bunch of really good young players, this program. They really do. And they've been a fun team. And, you know, we all know, man, home field matters in this stuff, right? Home country stuff matters. This is a tough spot. Like I said, if this was in Canada, maybe we give Canada a puncher's chance. I just don't see it happening, guys. I like the USA. I think, and like I said, I like the USA plus 275 to win a Gold Cup.
All right, there you go. Let's talk about the Homerun Derby, which is going to be going down next week. Who's going to win this thing? Do you look at the best hitter going into it, or are you looking at the bracket and who has the better path? Because one side is a bit easier than the other.
Yeah, I sort of look... And I sort of try to, you know, if I don't have a reason not to take the underdog, I'm like, you know what? Let's take the underdog. A good example here is Mookie Betts versus Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
You know, so we're getting Mookie Betts in like on the plus 185 range, talking about a guy that's, you know, multiple World Series winner. Vladimir Guerrero's never won a playoff series before. Oh, he's won a playoff game. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's not, you know, it's not a UFC fight. This guy's done this and that, but a lot of guys get nervous. A lot of guys, oh, this is a home run derby. Mookie Betts will not be nervous, right? And he's just going to casually go up there. And you're getting a guy as good as Mookie Betts at plus money. To me, I've got to ride the Mookie Betts train all the way through, like for him to win and to beat Vladimir Guerrero in the matchup. But overall to win, I'm going to keep it simple. It's going to be Alonso, man. Like, this guy likes it, wants it, shows up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll do it because the fans want me to do it. Like, no. Like, this guy's frothing at the mouth. Yeah,
he's doing squats in between at bats.
Dude, he's the only guy. Yeah. Everyone else during the home run derby is usually, like, watching, you know what I mean, and laughing and with the kids and everything. He's in the cage during the derby. Bang, bang, bang. Like, you remember, guys, he made more money from the home run derby than he did playing for the Mets. Right? So at first it was like, yeah, I want the money actually. I only make like $600K. Right? So I'm getting $1 million for this. So at first it was about the money. Now he wants to win it for the third time. Right? Like God knows the Mets ain't winning anything. So this is what he's got to play for.
Yeah.
So I don't like just giving you the chalk, but keep your eye on Mookie Betts in that matchup against Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at plus money. plus 180. All you got to do is beat one guy. And overall, I know it's not sexy, but I think that Pete Alonso is going to establish himself as the king, the modern king of the home run derby.
I couldn't agree more with you, Gabe. I mean, Vladdy right now, you may lead, like, have the second in the league in hard hit balls, but his launch angle is about like 8 degrees. I know they're going to throw meatballs to him, so it's a little different.
You're a Jay fan, so you know, Sean. That's why he wants to do it, bro.
Yeah.
That's why he wants to do it, though, Sean, because he thinks it's like a lot of guys, in the old days, it's antiquated, but it hurts my swing and this. Just say you don't want to do it, bro. Just say you don't want to do it. Don't say it hurts your swing, because it's glorified batting practice. But Vlad actually told people, they were like, really, because you're not hitting any home runs. There was sort of like, really? Like people close to him. And he said, you know what? I think this will help me, actually. Like if I can go smack 50 home runs in the Derby, maybe I can keep it rolling after. But you see it, Sean, and man, and I know he's got 4 home runs this week and all that. But, bro, Mookie Betts is smoking the ball, Sean. You're getting Mookie Betts at plus 184?
Yeah, I'm taking that, and I'm with you on Alonso, and might even sprinkle on Luis Robert just because of the bracket and the path to victory. So
he hits bombs too.
I'll be looking at him as well.
Yeah, and Mookie Betts, listen, man, he's having a good season. 23 home runs. He's been great. Gabe, unfortunately, out of time.
Let
but
me
thanks
just
so
say
much for
quickly.
doing this. Go ahead.
Let me just say quickly. It's crazy to say this, even though that the American League is 21-3-1 in the last 25 All-Star games. The National League beat them on Tuesday. Take the National League.
There you go. And there's just two players representing the National League in this home run derby, which is wild. Gabe, thanks so much.
Hey, always a pleasure, guys. Let's get it.
All right, that's Gabriel Morency of SportsGrid. You can catch him on SportsGrid, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM. He's all over the place and fantastic. Take those bets to the bank because
Sports Rage
in the building. You gonna be watching the Derby or the Derby?
I might do actually. Yeah, you know what? Like we were talking about yesterday, right? And the home run derby's all right. It's a bit of fun, you know.
Yeah.
It's better than most all-star activities.
Plus, I mean, what else are you going to watch on Monday? There's nothing else going on.
Yeah, it's what? It's like the slowest.
It's the quietest day of the year, isn't it?
Is it after the All-Star game? That's the quietest sports day, I think.
Yeah, usually because baseball's off, and so there's no baseball, and all the other sports are out of season aside from you know, you've got the WNBA and the CFL, but.
Sharms, what are we doing? Talking about CFL? Or what?
I guess we're getting drunk.
we're just going to get drunk on air and talk about CFL.
Yeah.
Our producer is saying some things in my ear that I wish I can repeat, but I cannot. Okay, we're about to wrap up the show. Coming up after the break, we're going to do McCormick's Minute live in studio. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the Homestand Show. We've reached the end of the show. James Sharman, Shawn McCormick, Albert Vartanian. You might see some issues with our lighting in a few seconds, but don't worry about that. We got McCormick's Minute with our main man, Johnny Flamingos. What do you got today?
I went out for all-you-can-eat last night.
There you go, buddy.
Are you seeing that?
And what's the best all-you-can-eat experience? Is it the Mandarin? Is it sushi?
Let's ask Ellie, our producer.
Pies. Yeah, I could do all-you-can-eat pies.
I don't know. I'm not a big all-you-can-eat guy.
All you can eat?
That's not me.
It might be a Manchu wok.
Oh, like a Mandarin type.
Yeah, Mandarin type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. I feel awful afterwards, but
okay.
Just for pure gluttony, give me some Shanghai noodles. I'll never stop.
I figured it was a quick 15-second question. I just, I went there, so you guys got to share my experiences.
Yeah, Mandarin's probably the last all-you-can-eat place I've ever been to.
Oh, okay. Well, on to the picks then, I guess.
On to the picks.
Well, Indian buffet curry buffet. That's right.
I've never been there. Can you throw up my board, please, Ellie? So we've got the Cincinnati Reds playing the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. You know, Andrew Abbott on the mound. He's going to be best the Brewers, so let's take the Reds at plus 100. The downfall of Toronto FC will continue this weekend.
Okay.
St. Louis City FC is first in the Western Conference, and they're only plus 150 against Toronto FC. Let's hammer St. Louis City FC at plus 150. Robert Whittaker should piece up Dricus du Plessis this weekend. He hasn't finished a fighter since 2017, so I'm going to take Whittaker by decision at plus 220. Hopefully he just works that jab on the outside. And then as we talked to Gabe Morency about earlier today, USA, I'm going to take -1 at plus 195. I think they can win this game 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, nothing. So
6 might be a stretch.
Sorry, well, 6.
I see a 2-0 in this one.
Sharms has got some scratch on the game too.
Yeah, I do actually.
Money.
Yeah,
That means
money. Okay, thank you.
There you go.
And I hate betting against Canada. I do. And I know this team, what they're there for, is developing more than anything. I get that, but the States are just looking really solid at the moment.
Yeah, I think so too. I got to put some cash on it. I got no bet scoring.
What's
I have Ches Reavie.
What's the best slang term for money?
Yeah,
Dollar bills.
Mullah's good.
Scratch,
Squadoosh.
Skrilla. Yeah, bananas.
Green.
Sometimes called bananas.
I like green. It's good for
green.
marijuana as well.
Yeah, okay.
Marijuana. I don't know
I
what
get
that is.
behind.
Benjamin Franklin, like producer Ellie just. We got to get producer Ellie on the show.
Well, he's got a lot to say today,
The
isn't
segment should be called "What did producer Ellie just say in your ear?"
Oh
Yes.
no, we can't do that.
You're
Not-
fired.
Maybe
I
next
mean,
week
maybe
on
when we're
YouTube,
live on
we can
YouTube.
Yes.
do that.
Yes, next week we'll be on YouTube going live starting Monday, whatever day that is in July.
3 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern.
That'll be a good time.
I believe it's the 10th.
There you go. More flamingo shirts coming up on the Homestand Show. Thanks for watching this week. We'll be back on Monday on YouTube. Homestand. Go subscribe.